Hey guys, back at it again with your boy Zepharias, aka Zeph the Wolf, aka Senderi-chan, the hopefully evolving artist, although some days I wonder. Okay, definitely a different start than what I'm used to, but that's okay. Recently, Clip Studio Paint added a time-lapse function, so I decided to give it a try by creating a new character for D&D. I also thought I could narrate it because I know some people are missing my lovely voice a bit. So, without further ado, let's get started. You know, I just recently got into D&D. It wasn't something that I've been into for a really long time. I wanted to get started years ago with my ex, but we lived in a small town and there was really only one group that played, and well, it was a pain in the ass trying to get together, so that never really ended up happening, which was unfortunate because I already had a character planned and everything, but you know. But eventually I got to play online with my friends, and so far it's been great. I've found it a lot more challenging than I had expected. That's probably because instead of starting off with an easy to play character, I decided to go with a magic user, which probably wasn't the best idea, but you know what? You learn as you go, and I feel like sometimes I'm learning really slowly, and sometimes it takes me a lot longer to plan my next move than it does for other people, but that's okay too. You all have to start somewhere, so I think it's fine that I'm not the best Dungeons and Dragons player ever yet. Eventually, I will get to be at least a mediocre Dungeons & Dragons player. This character in particular is a interesting Firbolg that is being designed for a game that may or may not happen in the future. Like, it's okay if it doesn't. I kind of just love designing characters. That's why I have like 10,000 OCs, which is probably not great, but you know, whatever. I wanted it to be a Firbolg because I really like the way that Firbolgs are designed. I love their ears and their like cute animal-like features. I love the fact that they are like forest creatures because I've always loved nature. I've always had a thing with nature, and I've always had a thing with like druids and stuff. Surprisingly, he's not a druid. He's going to be an archer because I suck at magic for the most part, and I also really suck at battling things up close. I've always been either a ranged magic or a ranged bow and arrow kind of user when it comes to video games and stuff, because every time I charge into battle I end up dying a horrible death. We're hoping that with this guy we don't die a horrible death. For the design of this character, I also wanted to kind of give him a more Irish appearance, because I know that Firbolgs are kind of based in old Irish culture or something. So I kind of just wanted to play it back to the roots kind of thing. Give him nice ginger hair and give him an Irish name. I debated for so long on what to name him because I love different Gaelic names. They're just so interesting. Eventually I ended up going with Finín because it just seems to suit him. He's a very soft boy. He has a very nice personality. He loves everybody despite a lot of people not liking him because, you know, people just look at you and they judge you based on your appearance, and he kind of looks a little scary. He's a big boy. Firbolgs are big, and he has the horns and the tail that you would expect to see from a tiefling. So people don't really know what to think about him. But he's really nice, and he doesn't care that he's not treated the way that he should be, because he knows that people just are misunderstanding him, and if he has the chance to change their mind, he can. And I think that's a really good trait for a character to have. It's definitely different from what I've done for my first campaign, which is, his name is Mako, and he's a half-orc, and he's definitely a lot more cynical, and hates himself, and isn't really into being near other people, except pretty elves. But this Firbolg, he's a lot different from that. He loves being near people, even if they don't love being near him. And even if you're trying to kill him, he kind of is a little bit naive, and he thinks that he could probably change your mind. And honestly, I think for the most part, he could change a lot of people's minds just through the way that he acts. He's just so kind to everybody. He wants to make you a flower crown just because he can. He wants to make you lunch and make sure that you have blankets at night so you don't get cold. For the background, I wanted to do a forest setting, obviously, because he is a Firbolg and he lives in the forest. I kind of wanted to go with a more magical forest theme. I don't really know if that's gonna be exactly what his home is like, but, you know, I always love just adding things like mushrooms and fairies. It's just, the fantasy type setting is just so beautiful to me. And I like to bring that into my pieces when I can. And it's kind of rare, because a lot of my art is based off of more futuristic type characters or monster characters, and I don't usually get a chance to draw nature, and it was actually quite nice to be able to incorporate that into my piece. Especially the mushrooms. I love mushrooms so much. They're really cool. I'm not really sure when I'm going to be able to play this character, but even if I don't get to play that D&D game, I think I'm going to probably be using him for a lot of things. He's just a really wholesome character, and I don't have many wholesome characters. Most of my characters are cynical, or they're evil, and very violent. We'll say. We'll just put that shortly. They're very violent. I don't know if that reflects negatively on me. I'd like to think that my characters are so violent because that is any violence that I would ever do. I have my characters do that, so I never have to touch that stuff. And I could continue being a wholesome soft boy, which I assume people think I am. I'm kind of a soft boy. It's fine. But he's definitely a nice change of pace from the characters that I normally have. And I could definitely put him in maybe little mini comics he would be good for. Just little scenes of joy and happiness and positivity. It's something I think we all need right now. We're being quarantined and we're all alone. We need that positivity in our life. When I play as Finín, there's a little bit of a challenge that I have to overcome, as I want him to have an Irish accent. I've been having trouble figuring out exactly what dialect I want to give him, because Irish accents are just very diverse. There are some words that are similar between the different regions, but there's a lot of variation and there's a lot of different slang. I don't know if I'll use the slang because he's technically not from Ireland, he's from another planet altogether. But Irish accents are so challenging. And I'm not really sure how well I'm going to be able to hold it throughout the whole game. But you know what? that is something we will figure out later on. And either way, no matter what happens, I know that this is going to be a character that I'm going to vibe with for a very long time. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my convoluted process and enjoy my new character, Finín. I've been getting really into my art lately, so I'm not sure whether or not to keep putting it here or create a new channel. You guys can give your thoughts in the comments below. Also, I recently created a new Twitch channel with my partner, These Two Gays Play, where we will be creating some fun and very gay video game streams. We're trying to raise money for TK's top surgery because it's quite costly in the US, but even if you just drop by to hang out, I'd be thrilled. Alright, thanks guys. See you in the next one.